mistakes, I just make my case. Drops mic when I'm done. What more can I say? Not bite, turn my tongue. I don't like the taste. I'm on and I'm on and I own my opponent. I'm always in the zone, either zoned out of zone. And then we could get it poppin'. Pick the topic if you watchin'. Skippin' Shannon, skip that hoppin'. Took these sports and made it pop. Say, all right, undisputed.
Lonnie Walker, there's a name I bet you didn't think you'd hear right off the top of the show. Skip's prediction of Lakers in 5 is looking pretty good. Welcome into Undisputed, everybody. I'm Jen Hale. That is Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharpe. Gentlemen, how are we doing after last
I'm doing
night?
good. I'm doing good. I'm doing good.
Should be doing good because the Warriors are done.
Now, there you go.
Lakers in 5.
Stop
Bring
jinx.
on the Suns and the Lakers.
You a jinx. You trying to jinx it. Stop that, Skip.
This is unjinxable.
Is it the first to 3 or the first to 4?
It's the first to 4,
Okay.
but trust me, psychologically,
I'm not
the
trust-
Warriors are shot.
No,
in the
I'm not going to
heart.
trust.
Yeah.
No. The last time I heard somebody say trust me.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. They got little stuffed curry.
I ain't going to tell you the last time somebody told me to trust me.
Yeah.
You know what happened, Skip?
With you,
I got a
can imagine.
30-year-old. I got a 30-year-old. Trust me, I got a 30-year-old.
Oh, you got a
Yeah,
30-year-old.
exactly.
Oh, I
This
thought
is a
you-
morning show.
Okay, Jen. Okay.
I need your opinion. What do the Warriors need to do? Do they need to stop that split action and do more pick and roll? Lakers now have a 3-1 series lead. They snagged the 104-101 W over the Warriors last night. LeBron leading the Lakers in scoring with 27 points, but the aforementioned Lonnie Walker. He's the one who led the Lakers down the stretch. 15 points on 6 of 9 shooting in the final quarter. Talk about clutch. Steph Curry had a 31-point triple-double, and not one, but 2 looks at the end of the game to make a go-ahead basket. Just couldn't connect with AD playing defense on him. Shannon, do the Lakers win it, or do the Warriors lose it?
Skip, the Lakers' defense in the fourth quarter was sensational. They held the Warriors to 35% shooting from the field, 22% from the three-point line, and they only let them shoot 3 free throws. I thought their defense picked up, and as Jen mentioned in the read, it was Lonnie Mofo Walker IV. He was sensational. And Skip, we saw a little something. Remember, we talked about him.
Is that his name? I didn't know that was his name.
That's all I had for him. That's all I had.
Wow.
But Skip, we talked about him on Monday. I said, Skip, you see how Lonnie Walker IV coming there? He had fell out of the rotation, wasn't getting but some little mop-up minutes, but he came in and shot the ball well. And I was like, well, okay. And then you saw him a little early in the game. I was like, okay, I guess they like what they saw. And when they inserted him in the late in the third and in the fourth quarter, he came out, hit that 3 to start the fourth. I said, man, he got his confidence. The way, Skip, you could tell the way he was running down the court.
I agree.
Chest puffed out. I said, okay, we might be on to something. And you saw the guys like, okay, Lonnie, do it again. Can you do it again? Do it again. Look, I think the thing is with Steph, they hounded Steph. Nobody else really was willing to step up and take a big shot. Clay was, Skip, did you realize they took 17 shots in the fourth quarter? Steph took 11 of them. So basically, they hounded Steph. Dennis Schroeder does as well a job as you can. Austin Reeves take him some. Jerry Vanderbilt takes him some. That play that AD at the end of the game reminded you a lot of the championship game, the finals against Kevin Love.
Yep.
Remember how Steph was out there dancing on Kevin Love, and Kevin Love was right there with him step for step, got an opportunity. I'm going to say the Lakers won this one, Skip, because the execution down the stretch, and it was from an unlikely source. If AD or LeBron does this, they're supposed to. They're the 2 big guns.
Yep.
But when you get the unsung guys, a guy that really came out of nowhere, because if you look at it, he had 23 playoff points.
Yep.
And you look at the last 2 games, how many points does he have? And so, Skip, for me, I'm going to say they executed down the stretch, and they won this ball game. And it's been someone different. You remember one time it was Rui Hachimura, and you get Austin Reeves, and now you got Lonnie Walker.
Yep.
So I like what I'm seeing, but I'm going to say the Lakers won it more so than the Warriors lost.
Okay. All right. I first want to give it up to Lonnie Walker IV, a former San Antonio Spur who was the 18th overall pick in the draft.
Thank you for giving me to us.
He's had some personal issues. Maybe we'll delve into those deeper today or tomorrow later. But the point is he has worked through those, but he couldn't work through them while he was still a Spur. So he was there for 4 years, and they finally said, no, not going to work here. They're starting over, as you obviously know. And you were able to get him on the cheap for about $6.5 million for 1 year. He's got the option on next year. We'll see where he can be free if he wants to be. And so we'll see how this plays out.
Right.
But I loved what he said after the game, because he said, at the end of the day, I am a role player. So he has accepted his lot in life. He's a role player. So
acceptance is the key to life.
It is, because if he had come in here saying, hey, I'm better than this guy, I should be in the starting lineup.
I need minutes.
Then he would have psychologically quit on Darvin Ham, and he would not have been ready to go the way he was in the fourth quarter. And I completely, utterly underline what you said about body language, because he was running up and down the court like, I got this.
Not to cut you off, Skip, but there's a guy on the other side that's probably complaining about minutes.
Jordan Poole, he wouldn't even talk to the reporters last night because he had his back to them. He answered all his questions with his back to reporters because in the fourth quarter, he played 0 minutes.
And they put him in the game, and you could tell him when they took him out of the game, you could tell the way he was like, I said, they got a problem brewing.
They got
a problem brewing.
Speaking of problems brewing, I'm going to say this again about Golden State. They are the defending champs.
Yes.
They are dynastic. I give you all of that. I have nothing but the highest regard for what they have achieved over the past decade with that core of players, Steph, Clay, Draymond. For a while, Kevin Durant. Something has been afoul this whole year. Something has been off and missing this whole year. That they may have to change voices going into next year. They may have to change Steve Kerr. At some point, they're not hearing what they need to hear, or at some point, they've just sort of hit the dynastic wall, because sometimes you just do. You just run out of gas, because they are doing things that are so uncharacteristically wrong and bad that it's not Golden State that I'm watching in these games. You remember what happened in Game 3, the first of the two games at what's now called the Crypt.
Right.
What happened down the stretch of the second quarter? They're up 11 with 8 minutes to go.
Right.
They miss 12 shots before halftime. They turn it over 6 times before halftime. They have 3 technical fouls in the last minute of the first half, and they go from up 11 to down 11, and that game was gone and over.
Okay.
What happened down the stretch last night? They go into the fourth quarter. They're up 7 points. To your point, Lonnie Walker comes right in and goes boom and hits the first 3. And then LeBron hit a little 7-footer, and then AD has a little feed from LeBron up and under. And all of a sudden, you look up and you say, wait a second, the game is tied. And then it teeters and it goes back and forth. And finally, Clay hits a big 3. They finally got one to fall.
Yes.
With 3 minutes left. It fell. And it looked like you were about to fall because they go up 3 points. Mr. Sharpe, what happened to the defending champs from 3 minutes to the bitter end? They unraveled again. They just came all apart at the seams. They played shockingly, uncharacteristically, un-Warriors basketball. Okay. If I could show you what happened, starting with Clay, then Steph, then the 2 turnovers, if we could see this, please. We start with Clay. So he just hit a 3, so he heat checks this one. And this is, you want to talk about that's logo range. That was a bad idea. It's just so far.
I bet the clock was running down on that one.
Okay, but then he goes again and he misses that one. And now this is Steph on AD, and AD can really defend on the perimeter, as LeBron said.
That was late.
They get the rebound, the offensive rebound, and he says, I still got you, and he stepped back. How many of those have you seen him hit?
Yes. And
he misses that one, and then here goes Draymond on the play of the game that they called in the huddle because they had a timeout. I have no idea who he's throwing it to. And then off the jump ball, Steph gets it, and I don't know what possesses him. He just throws it over his head. There's nobody home. There's nobody over there. They have a timeout.
Right.
Okay, so now I'll go back in order. Okay, so we got 2 Clay heat check 3s. He's saying, okay, Steph, you're cold, because he was cold as ice at that point.
Yeah, he's 4 of 11, and 1 for 4 in the fourth.
Okay. So Clay says, I got you. I just made one, and then I don't got you. And then we get back-to-back Steph on AD. And as LeBron said after the game, LeBron was singing the praises of AD as the best defender in all of basketball. And you can certainly make a case, because LeBron's case was range, that he can protect the rim as well as anybody can. But once upon a time in high school, he played guard. So he grew like exponentially. And now when he goes out on the perimeter and gets locked with Steph, I don't think he's afraid of Steph,
Right.
even though Steph should have the advantage on him because he's 6 feet, what do we give him, 10, 6 feet, 10 inches
Yeah.
tall and long.
Right.
But he's got really great feet for
Right.
a big man. So if any big can bother Steph on the perimeter, I would say it's Anthony Davis. But we are talking about the greatest shooter in the history of basketball.
Right.
Okay, I got a stat for you. And people say I'm too hard on Steph Curry. I'm just telling you the truth about Steph Curry. In Steph's playoff career, 14 times he has taken go-ahead shots in the final 50 seconds of fourth quarters and overtimes of playoff games.
Okay.
14 times. He has made 0 out of 14, and 2 more came, as you just saw last night. He is 0 for 14 in those circumstances. Again, you guys in Cleveland came back on them from 3-1 down, obviously, in 2016, in large part because Steph, with 2 of the last 3 in his house at Oracle, came up even smaller than he is in those 3 fourth quarters. He was horrendously bad. And then against Toronto, Kawhi's Toronto, he missed a walk-off shot in Game 6 that could have at least sent it back to Toronto for a Game 7. He has not been big-time clutch, living up to his greatest shooter reputation that he has earned.
I'll concede you that, Skip, but I think the biggest thing is that he's probably done enough damage by hitting heat checks